Hi guys, Happy New Year. I know it's been a while, but I'm back now. Let's get started. With the elections fast approaching and recent events occurring in the news, I thought it would be interesting to research and talk about the presidential candidates. A quick disclaimer, the views in these videos are my personal opinion. For this first episode, I will focus on Buhari. I'm sure many of you already know this, but for those who don't, and for the sake of context, he is a retired military major general in the Nigerian army who previously served as the nation's head of state from 1983 to 1985 after seizing power in a military coup. His first regime was mostly characterized as a harsh right-wing military dictatorship. He unsuccessfully ran for office of the President of Nigeria in 2003, 2007 and the 2011 general election. And in December 2014, he emerged as the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the March 2015 general election. This was his time. Many Nigerians, including myself, were not happy with the way the country was, and we desperately needed a change, which Baba happened to be offering at the time, or so we thought. Long story short, he won the election, defeating the incumbent president, Goodluck Jonathan. This marked the first time in history of Nigeria that an incumbent president lost to an opposition candidate in the general election. After Buhari's victory, I thought our problems would be solved by our new change champion. If only we paid a closer attention to history, we would have discovered that a leopard cannot change his spots. He made 1,001 promises that he reneged on. I'll get to those in a moment. But let's quickly go through what he's been able to achieve so far in office. His administration successfully revived the agricultural sector. Also, under him, Nigeria now exports more than we import. He signed the Not Too Young to Run bill into law. Another thing worth commendation is that his administration completed and commissioned some of the airports and railways which were commenced under Goodluck Jonathan's administration. He also initiated 4 social development programs, including Empower, which is a platform where Nigerian graduates between the ages of 18 to 35 can access skill acquisition and development. So far, only 500,000 youths have benefited from the scheme. He also initiated the school feeding program, and according to the federal government, over 9 million primary pupils in 49,000 primary schools are benefiting daily. Another scheme is the Trader Money, which is a collateral-free loan initiative targeted at petty traders and artisans. It gives beneficiaries loans of 10,000 growing up to 100,000 as they pay back. Though this initiative has been dubbed as vote buying by Transparency International, but that's a video for another day. The final program is the conditional cash transfer of 5,000 naira monthly to the poorest Nigerians. And so far, no fewer than 297,000 households have benefited. Though these programs could solve some of the issues, the amount of beneficiaries in relation to the total amount of those in need is still too poor. Now, onto his failures. For this video, I will limit them to the major ones: health, the economy, security, and his anti-corruption fight. On health, he promised to end medical tourism in the country. We all know how that went. Over his tenure, he spent over 170 days abroad receiving treatment. The health sector is in an abysmal state. Hospitals still lack basic equipment. I made a whole video about the state of the Nigerian health sector. Go check that out if you are interested. On the economy, Nigeria entered into a recession under his rule. And although we are out of it, we still have not fully recovered from it. The value of the naira dipped from about 180 naira to the dollar in 2015 to 361 naira to the dollar today. We also surpassed India as the world's poverty capital, with about 87 million people living in extreme poverty. On security, does security even exist in this country anymore? Since Buhari took office in 2015, nearly 20,000 people have died as a result of terrorism, with millions more being displaced. His government doesn't seem to have a care about human life, even though he was one of the biggest critics of the previous administration's approach to security. He promised to stomp out Boko Haram, and it's been almost 4 years, the group is still wreaking terror. Last year, he approved $1 billion for the purchase of weapons to continue the fight against Boko Haram, even though he claimed on 4 previous occasions that his sect had been defeated. Don't even get me started on the headsmen massacres. After nearly 100 people were slaughtered in Plateau last year, what did the president have to say? Moving on, despite his efforts on his anti-corruption crusade, our corruption rating around the globe has refused to be significantly affected. According to a report by Transparency International, corruption in Nigeria is getting worse. The report stated Nigeria dipped a whole 12 places from 2016 on the Corruption Perception Index to 148th out of 180 countries. In addition, his fight seems very one-sided. Only members of the opposition party seem to be getting prosecuted. Even Oshomole very recently said,
"And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven."
Till date, the Kano State governor has still not been prosecuted, even after 2 videos of him allegedly receiving bribes surfaced. The president even went out of his way to defend him.
About that video, do you have any personal thoughts? Do you believe that video is fake, or do you believe it is legitimate?
I can't say.
He can talk for himself.
As I told you, I have seen the clip. I don't know how much technology was used, but can get you say to trust somebody to get the money to him. He has to take it directly himself, smiling. I honestly am completely overwhelmed.
Personally, I believe the president should not even be running in the first place. He has failed woefully and defaulted on so many of his promises. His administration has mastered the art of whataboutism, always quick to point fingers at past leaders. Is that why he was elected? Did he not claim he could right all their wrongs? If at the end of the first term he cannot boast of achieving much, should he be running? Finally, to the people planning to vote for him come February, if a man did so badly in the first term, when there was still a possibility of re-election, do you think he would work half as much when there's nothing else to fight for?